Is Sinners a winner? We talked to USC professor who taught Oscar nominee and SCA alum Ryan Coogler.
Movie theaters are not as popular these days. We talked to students to see if they prefer the couch over the cinema.
I'm live in front of the Dolby Theater, which will host the 2026 Oscars. Hear more about my predictions.
Lights, camera, action this week. See It Live goes to Hollywood. The countdown is on for Hollywood's biggest night. The 98th Academy Awards are set for this Sunday. Hi, I'm Kate Stuzin.
And I'm Lluvia Chavez. A Trojan-made film has a record 16 nominations, including Best Picture. This year, 10 films are nominated for Best Picture: Begonia, Frankenstein, F1, Marty Supreme, and Hamnet. It also includes The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, One Battle After Another, Train Dreams, and Sinners.
This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
Sinners, directed by USC alum Ryan Coogler, is the most Oscar-nominated film in the Academy Awards history and is a fan favorite to win Best Picture award. We sat down with Coogler's former USC professor who shared his memories of Coogler's time at USC.
He was so excited to get in. I remember him telling me when he got his acceptance, he went running around the house, jumping up and down, screaming with excitement. And he really, really wanted to be there, and he was determined to utilize that experience to absolute max. Usually the first week, all the cool guys sit at the very back, right? And I have to go, please, please move forward. I don't want to have to shout to be heard, right? There's like 50 people in the class, including faculty. But Ryan sat right in the front row. I mean, like right in front of me, 10 yards in front of me. And it's like, whoa, who is this guy? That while he was doing sound, he had the big boom out, right? He was eavesdropping on every conversation around the room. He was listening in to the director talking to the DP and the director talking to the actors. You know, you're never supposed to do that, right? But he did. Again, he used that opportunity to learn. I've texted him pretty regularly. I mean, every time he wins an award, I send him a text and he goes, "Hey, thanks, John, you got me started," kind of thing. What I've seen him learn is that he is not ashamed to say what he doesn't know, and he leans in on people who know more than he does about any given subject or any different topic, and that allows him to do a deep dive and get it right. And he comes off very humble, and he is very humble. If you look at all his movies, I think he's got a sort of unerring feel for the truth. What's truthful in their performance and in a storytelling? I think that's what stood out about Fruitvale. I haven't had anybody comment on that before, but that's my feeling about it. I look at his films and I go, yeah, I believe this. I believe these people. I believe this dialogue. I believe this sentiment. To be successful, it has to be 99% you, right? I mean, if I got 1% of contribution to his success, that would be probably generous. I remember saying to him when he left school, I said, you're going to be a big success. Obviously, I didn't know how big a success, but I said, stay yourself, right? Stay humble, keep being you.
The 2013 film Fruitvale Station was Coogler's directorial debut. It received critical acclaim and received support from local groups like San Francisco Film.
There are stories from people who were there at the time about how immediate people knew that this was going to be a really important project. Not only the story for Fruitvale Station, but what it meant for the Bay Area community and Oakland specifically. It is important for him to pay it back. And so we have called on Ryan to help us with the emerging talent that's coming through. He is known as someone in the independent film community who is looking out and supporting that next generation of filmmakers.
Among the historic 16 Oscar nods are Best Picture nomination, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. A dean of the School of Cinematic Arts says that many of Coogler's collaborators are people he met at USC.
Ryan Coogler, along with his collaborators, are the epitome of what SCA hopes our alums become. If you look at some of the collaborators, fellow alumni such as Seb Ohanian, his producer, Ludwig Göransson, his composer, Michael Chavez, his editor, all of them met here at USC and have been working together ever since.
This fall, SCA will offer a class called Sinners, Art, and Industry. It will be a case study in film, AI, and creative collaboration.
The push for diversity in Hollywood has been a major conversation over the past decade, but recent data suggests progress may be slowing down. Reporter Anthony Bottino is outside Dolby Theater to tell us more about it.
Thank you, Kate. Diversity is back at the forefront of conversations with the Oscar nominations. From casting decisions to who gets to write and direct major films, representation diversity has been a major issue throughout the industry, despite calls for change. The pressure gained national attention online during the Oscars So White campaign in 2015 and 2016. It criticized the lack of diversity among nominees at the Academy Awards. Chapman University's film school dean talked about why there's been such a lack of diversity and why diversity is needed.
Trump's administration is really cracking down on anything that smacks of DEI, which means at the highest level, people are turning their eyes away from the prize. And at the lowest level, it's becoming more difficult to help more diverse young people get breaks. So you're being squeezed a bit on both ends. You need diversity in the decision-making places to create diversity in what we view. And creating diversity in what we view is also going to encourage, on the beginning end, young people of color, women, to think of entering the business more.
According to UCLA's Hollywood Diversity Report, there is a clear lack of diversity in film for 2025. For people of color, they only make up 23.1% of leading roles, 22% of directors, and 20% of writers. Author Michael Tran questioned why this is still occurring, despite diversity casting proving to lead to higher revenue.
Movies are getting less diverse in terms of race and ethnicity and gender. And, you just have to wonder why. If, the Oscars pointed to these as the best movies, and a lot of them are diverse, and we're showing that they're also the most financially successful, why isn't Hollywood making more of this?
While representation behind the camera still lags behind, this year's award season could mark a historic moment. Sinners Arnhem Arkapaw could make history this year, being the first ever women of color to win the Academy Award for Best Cinematography. Experts we spoke to said Sinners' recognition is great, but progress is much more than just awards. It's about consistent hiring and listening to diverse voices across Hollywood. For Annenberg Media, I'm Anthony Bottino.
Thanks, Anthony. The recent Oscar nominations for top films from streaming services over traditional studios. A box office columnist gave his input on how the two compare in popularity today.
As far as the value of theatrical compared to streaming, every streaming platform depends primarily on theatrical releases for the bulk of their film-specific streaming viewership. Streaming movies don't make much noise. Theatrical releases can be an additive to an already existing streaming success.
Top film distributors for Best Picture include Netflix, Warner Brothers, Focus Features, and Neon Distributing, which all have 2 nominated films, while Apple and A24 have 1.
Professor, AMC theaters have not been profitable in 8 years.
A Pew Research survey has found that recently only half of Americans have seen a movie in theaters in the last year. That number jumps to 67% for those aged 18 to 29. Trojans told us where they watch movies.
I'd say the theater maybe like once a month, but I've got friends who have the Stubs program and they're going all the time. They'll rave about it, being like it's such a good deal, and I want to get in on that.
Honestly, every 2 weeks I try to see a new movie. I really enjoy going to the theater.
I prefer going to the movies. I just don't have a lot of time to go to the movies, so I definitely do streaming services a lot more. I'm attending the theater maybe once every 2 months, and I stream a movie, maybe once every week.
Overall, Warner Brothers was the top Oscar distributor with 30 nominations.
Since an all-time low in 2021, Oscar viewership has been slowly clawing back to its pre-pandemic days. Annenberg Media's Terrence Holton is here to tell us about why people may or may not be tuning in.
Over the last 10 years, Oscar viewership has plummeted, losing about half its audience from 2015. After an all-time low during the pandemic, people are starting to tune back in. Other award shows, such as the Grammys, have also seen viewership decline by over 2 million in the last 3 years. Meanwhile, in 2025, the Emmys reached a 5-year viewership high. Students here at USC gave their take on if they are watching the Oscars or not.
I'm going to be watching just because it's kind of like just something to do with my friends. I have some pretty strong opinions. I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos and TikTokers like making their predictions, so I'm just kind of excited to see.
I'm not that interested in the Oscars in general. So probably even if they were promoting it and I haven't seen anything for it, I probably still wouldn't be that interested.
Now, one digital technology professor told us that social media has contributed to new interest in the Oscars, with betting markets and social posts driving interest.
We know that historically, the last 10, 15 years, more people say they watch because of the red carpet and to see what people are wearing. We know that people who bet are much more likely to be watching. So betting, in a sense, may attract people to the broadcast.
Prediction markets have become a very popular way for people to engage with award shows. Looking at odds for the Best Actor award, Michael B. Jordan currently has the edge over Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio, with over $10 million wagered by users. Meanwhile, in the Best Actress race, Jessie Buckley in Hamnet is the projected runaway favorite, leaving Rose Byrne and Kate Hudson in the dust. Now, with the Oscars this weekend, we'll get to see if those prediction markets or social media clicks pay off into TV views.
Thank you, Terrence. 2 USC alumni are going head-to-head in the live-action short film category. Sam Davis, the director of The Singers, is also a 2-time Academy Award-nominated filmmaker.
Yep, another night at the bar.
The Singers is a genre-bending film adaptation of the 19th century Russian short story. It focuses on a bar full of men who connect unexpectedly through a sing-off competition.
It was a surreal moment to hear The Singers called on nomination morning. The film is kind of schizophrenic in that way. There's a little bit of a lot of different things in there and different flavors, and even in the ending, there's this sort of reverent, emotional ending, and then there's that's sort of undercut by this final comedic button.
Davis's first Academy Award nomination came in 2024 when he was the cinematographer alongside USC alum Sean Wang for the documentary Nine and Why Po. Coming up, we ask Trojans who they think will take home an Oscar this Sunday.
The Paramount merger is shaking up how new films will be made. Find out how film experts feel.
And Oscar nominee has dissed 2 arts communities. Their response coming up next.
USG election season has kicked off.
They have a huge game on Thursday, right?
Huge.
Prior to that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And a warning tonight about a massive storm heading our way.
We're live here at the Galen Center. What would y'all do if
Chalamet. I have to talk about.
So, live from the Halo is USC Annenberg's take on NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. This is like a platform for USC students and adjunct students just to perform and play their music for an audience.
Paramount Global signed a $110 billion deal to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Experts say the merger could lead to the production of less films. Paramount promises 30 theatrical releases annually, but experts fear the $79 billion debt behind the deal will lead to less creative freedom and fewer projects. Paramount would now control massive assets including HBO, CNN, Warner Brothers, and DC Comics. The company says the merger could move forward without major layoffs, but experts don't buy it.
This will not go, and they will not match the level of cost cutting that they're expecting without touching what's the most expensive source of cost, which is labor, consolidating Paramount Plus with HBO Max. But how will this concretize, and will this be enough to actually match this number, is where people are extremely critical.
I haven't seen a number yet, but it'll be a historic layoff of people in the industry. So, that certainly worries me as someone who's teaching these students who are about ready to enter the workforce.
The merger would also mean streaming services Paramount Plus and HBO Max would combine and compete with Netflix. The deal awaits approval from the U.S. Justice Department before it can close.
And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there.
Chalamet's comments about ballet and opera resurfaced on social media a week after this town hall with Variety and CNN. They struck a nerve with many on social media who criticized his comments. Chalamet is nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars. Two marketing experts say these comments might impact his chances.
So anything that smacks a little bit of controversy will generate a lot more reaction, and the algorithms feed on it. People are looking for something that, they can debate. Nobody really understands the economy, but oh my God, a celebrity just dissed the arts. We can all wrap our heads around that.
I think he's concerned about whether or not the movie industry is going to become less popular and less of a mainstream vehicle. The ballots have already been cast for the Best Actor, so I don't think it'll impact that.
Chalamet has drawn criticism from prominent art organizations like the Royal Ballet and Opera, the Metropolitan Opera, and individual artists across the globe. We spoke with USC students about what it meant for an actor on the Academy stage to criticize their art form.
I think that as an artist, it was just really weird to see him kind of think that his art form was superior to other art forms. If he were to go see an opera, maybe if his opinions would be different, or if he even has seen an opera, I have no idea.
Just because opera is not part of popular culture doesn't mean that people don't care about it. Opera and ballet are so integral to narrative storytelling. Without the hundreds of years that we've had of opera and ballet, that we wouldn't be where we're at with movies. The fact that I am Gen Z and majoring in opera is proof that there are people out there who like it. I go to the LA Opera. There's a lot of people who are seeing it.
Chalamet's comments were made back in February but didn't go viral until after Academy voted its closing. We'll be watching to see if he wins his Oscar after all. Chalamet may have cost himself the Oscar, but who will win? Anthony Bottino is back to give us his predictions.
Thank you, Lluvia, and I'm so happy you asked because I have been waiting to give my predictions for the 2026 Oscars. And let me start by saying I think it will be a very big night for the cast and crew of Sinners, and they will 100% take home Best Picture award. And you can't take home Best Picture without having the best director in the biz, so Ryan Coogler will definitely win Best Director. However, I do think they will fall short in Best Actor, and despite the controversy, I do think the Academy will pick Timothée Chalamet as the Best Actor. Now for Best Actress, I think that will go to Emma Stone for her performance in Begonia. I think she stepped into a different role that she's not used to, and she knocked it out of the park and was absolutely phenomenal. Now those are my predictions, but let's see what some students at USC think.
I think one battle after another is going to win Best Director and Best Picture. Jessie Buckley should win Best Actress. I don't know who's going to though.
I'm watching to see Ryan Coogler get his win and Michael B. Jordan, and I'm looking forward to a Cinder sweep.
Personally, I'm going for Ryan Coogler because he's my favorite director, but I do see some of the other potential, like One Battle After Another.
I think Michael B. Jordan has it in the bag for Best Actor. For Best Picture, I think it could really be a toss-up. I think Sinners is the clear favorite, but stranger things have happened.
So Lluvia, what are we thinking for Oscars this year?
I'm definitely rooting for Sinners. I thought it was phenomenal. I was at the edge of my seat when I was watching it, so I'm hoping they sweep the stage this Sunday.
See, I also love Sinners, and while I would love for it to win Best Picture, I have a strong feeling the Academy's going to go for One Battle After Another. I think that film really just came at such a pivotal time in American history, and Paul Thomas Anderson, he's been nominated for 14 Oscars and hasn't won yet, so I really think that this is his year. Anyway, that's all from us at See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Kate Stuzin.
And I'm Lluvia Chavez. For more coverage, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you'll never miss an episode. We'll see you next time. Good night.